Hello, viewers. Welcome to Women Rise, Women at the Front Lines. Now, I'm called Nayiga Madreen, and today on Women Rise, we have Angela Nsimbi. Angela Nsimbi, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm well, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you for coming through. This is a platform for women, and we are always here every Saturday at 3 p.m. Yes, we get to host exciting guests, and with exciting stories, you share your stories with an aim of mentoring our young women, fellow women out there. So Angela Nsimbi she is a mindset coach. She is an author, and I'm holding copies of her book, Breaking Free. Yes, and she has also a mental health guide. So what we are going to talk about with Angela is a very, very important issue. Yes, we are going to talk more about mental health. Yes, and in Uganda, currently, Uganda is ranked among the top 6 African countries with mental health issues and problems. But it is really absurd that few of us know about what mental health is, yet there are many people who are suffering mental health breakdown. So Angela will take us through that journey, but of course she will tell us more about herself. She is a strong mental health activist. She is the initiator of the Keturah Mental Health Awards that happened in October, that is 10th.
Yes,
Yes,
October
yeah,
10th.
we missed that, but she's here. She will tell us more about those awards. Angela is also the initiator of the My Story Initiative and the co-founder of the Nataba Wellness Support Center. And not to forget, she is a journalist by profession.
True. Yes.
So we are so delighted to have you in our studios. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So Angela, to our viewers, who is Angela? How would you describe yourself?
How would I describe myself? I'm somebody who loves fun. I love a good laugh. To the point that some people who know me, some don't. They have never seen the angry Angela. Some. Of course, people who know the angry side of me are those who really, like very close.
Yeah.
But otherwise, on the whole, most people have never seen me angry. So I'm somebody who enjoys a good laugh. I love comedy. I love interacting with people who love progress.
Yes.
I'm somebody who is very passionate about my faith. I'm a Christian.
Okay.
So I'm very passionate. I use the Bible literally, like for healing. I use it to boost my self-esteem. And then what else can I say? I'm someone who has learned to be a mother over the years because I'm a mother to 5.
Wow.
And I get shocked when people tell me, okay, Angela, now please be my mom. You know, like young women will come to me and they'll tell me, I want you to be my mom.
Wow.
And so I realized that now with this young woman, there are boundaries. She has already told me she's looking at me as a mother figure. Yes, so I love young people.
Okay.
Young people are very exciting, and young people have lovely ideas.
True.
And they also desire to be heard.
Yes.
So I really desire to also support young people to grow.
Wow.
Yes.
That is beautiful. And Angela, we want to know, who was Angela growing up? Yes, before you...
Before I'm all these other things.
Yes, we want to know.
Growing up, when I was growing up in a polygamous home. Daddy, by the way, always tell people, disclaimer, my father was not a Muslim.
Okay.
He was Anglican, but a polygamist.
Okay.
So growing up in that family, I have like 3 younger brothers, but our difference is hardly 2 years apart. We are hardly 2 years apart, 3 of them. So I grew up more like a tomboy. My battles, I would handle them.
Yeah.
I would fight the 3 of them at once until their voices broke. Okay. When their voices broke, I knew my limits. I knew, a boy is a boy. And when his voice has broken, it doesn't matter even though you're the big sister, he will sort you out. So those battles I stopped. But otherwise, I could say headstrong in my younger days. These days, I still have strong opinions, but I'm not as headstrong as before.
Yeah.
Because these days, I can say I have a teachable spirit.
Okay.
Those days, if I've decided that's it. I don't want another opinion. Yes. So that's who I was in my younger days, because I remember I used to climb trees. Yeah, I climbed trees. I'm not one of those girls who are prim and
The
proper.
humble ones. Yeah.
I would climb trees, run around, and have fun. That was me growing
A
up.
jolly child.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Beautiful. And from there, tell us more about your work, journalism.
Okay.
Who
Now,
inspires you to join journalism?
I don't know if I should say there's a particular person, but my big sister who passed away, that's Keturah, she was already a journalist.
Okay.
Although, by the way, she had done social sciences. She was a sociologist. So she wasn't really like, she hadn't studied journalism, but she practiced journalism. So I should say I got inspiration partly because of her, but also from way back when I was a young child. I've always loved to write. Always. To the point, because I'm an artist.
Okay.
I love drawing. So I would draw. If I read a book, I would write the quote and write it in a very artistic way and put it on my walls of my bedroom. I have always loved to write, and I have always wanted to write from the heart. Because my sister, actually, I got the privilege of being supervised by her, in addition to other supervisors. But she would also commend me when I had written a story, and also me, I would feel that, in this story, I gave it my all.
Wow.
Because if it meant interviewing the different people, listening to them so that I write from the heart, she also would tell me, that story, that was a good story. That is me. So I've always loved to write. I have notebooks. I can't count. I keep writing. In fact, there's someone who told me, "But Angela, why are you always writing?" I told them, even when I go for a church sermon, I have to write. I will feel empty to walk out of that church sermon without writing.
You're one of the
So it's a passion.
Here.
Yes. It's a passion.
I know you love that story in Breaking Free.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
And so how are you doing? How are you still practicing journalism with a lot of work you're doing in mental health?
Maybe I can say, once a journalist, always a journalist. That's what I can say. Because everything I do today, I make sure I find a way to document it. Yes, because like how I told you about the Mental Health Awards, yes, they are there, but I felt, let's have the mental health guide, because people need help. And the time I had a crisis, I didn't know, where do you start? You even don't understand what's happening to you. So people need help, and that resource it includes people who are service providers, and also includes poetry for healing the mind. Yeah, because I felt, so that is how I would say I practice my journalism now. And now I'm an author as well. I've written my book, Breaking Free. It's an account of my recovery journey from bipolar. Yes, an experience, a personal experience. Because that way I'm showing people what were the hard moments, and how did people support me, what systems worked, and for how long. Because everybody, their challenge will affect them differently, because the circumstances vary. But so that is how I would say I practice my journalism. And I do social media influencing for some people. Some people can hire me, and I do social media influencing for them around topical issues. YouGanet, for example, I actually did some social media influencing for them. So I just make sure that whatever it is in line with my values. There are some things I'm also not ready to compromise. So if it is not in line with my values, even when someone has hired me, there are things I will not promote on my channels. Yes.
Okay. That is beautiful. And from Angela's story, we are going to learn that nothing is permanent in life, because the part we are going to is Angela has suffered a mental health breakdown.
True.
She has broken down at a certain point, but she is here as a strong activist of mental health. So, Angela, when do you discover all this? When do you break down? How do you discover? How was the journey?
The journey, like I said, childhood also was a challenge. Growing up in a polygamous home, and the challenges in a polygamous home are real. Yeah, because there's a lot of strife among siblings. You see, even a nuclear family, when you are it's husband, wife, and children, the clashes are there.
True.
But it's more intense when you are different mothers. Yeah, because it's like everybody is suspicious of another. There's too much tension between the parents. And for me, my mom and dad didn't also have a very good relationship. So that affected me psychologically. But somehow, like, I would bury it. I would never discuss it. And when my mom and dad separated, I think that was a challenging time for me. But I also knew it was the best at that time because they would never see eye to eye. Yeah, so I felt, yeah, I guess they are good apart. They are good apart. But of course, those things also pose unique challenges because when a parent is a single parent, I noticed that she now relied on me so much. I'm her first child.
Okay.
So I became like a confidant. Now my position as a child, I almost lost it. And I should be honest, she would hardly look at me as a child. Because now she would look at me as somebody she can reason with. She would look at me as somebody she can confide in. So I got to a place where I'm thinking, I cannot now show her my vulnerable side.
Yeah.
And I mastered the art of masking my pain. Because I realized now, if mom has to rely on me, then that means I can't tell her when I have a challenge. I had to keep quiet. Because when she would have challenges, maybe even getting school fees for my siblings, she would come to me and say, this is a crisis. But what maybe I can say the advantage I have had is that I'm very positive. I'm a very positive person because I kept encouraging her. But it took a toll on me emotionally. It took my childhood away. And then when you bury that, then you get into marriage. Marriage also has a special package because I came into a family where my husband is the last born. And when he's the last born, he has siblings who are much older. A culture that is different from my own culture. Then you have to cope in that. You have to find your bearings in that as well. So definitely the challenges were a build-up from my childhood stresses and a build-up of some marital pressure as well. And also a build-up because for me, I'm a mom of 5. And the truth is managing children, running a home, it was a mix. Yeah, one thing led to another and I had the breakdown. And when I had the breakdown, what I remember, because I also didn't understand what was happening to me, I was speaking rapidly. When they say rapidly, you actually speak. You are talking. Yes, non-stop. So I realized that there is a problem, but I didn't know exactly what it is. And then I remember a nurse was brought in to sedate me forcefully. And the nurse sedated me, but it still took time for me to sleep because it would affect my sleeping. Until eventually I said, you know what, let's check in with the doctor and we see.
Who realizes that you need a nurse to come and check on you?
It was my husband. Because he brought in the nurse, they sedated me. Eventually I slept. Then a few days, then I said, you know what, I think I need to go to the hospital. Let's see what's happening. What will they say at the hospital? So when we went to the hospital, I remember, mental health issues are complex. Because I remember going to the hospital, a police letter was got. A brother-in-law of mine came, a sister-in-law of mine came. So it kind of puts you also on tension.
On tension.
You as a patient, yes.
Yeah.
And why I'm saying this in particular, I want to also open the eyes of the public that, you know, if you treat people like that, it's like you have committed a crime. You are not well, but the way you're also being taken to hospital, it's like you're a criminal. So because I remember when I got into the car, I saw a letter from police, you know, and this letter was saying things which are not all factual, because that letter was stating that I'm a danger. And thankfully, I didn't hurt my children. I didn't hurt them. I didn't even try. I also didn't hurt myself. However, I can say the challenge was, I remember the first time I had broken down my baby, I carried her the whole day. And she was only 9 months. She was the baby. But you know, children being children, I think there's a certain comfort also a child gets from the mom. She didn't cry. So for her to eventually, because I breastfed her in the morning, but I was up the whole day till evening. And then I was sedated. Then she was bottle fed. And my daughter hated bottle feeding. Yeah. So when I see this letter, going back to the letter, it was not a comfortable feeling. I got that letter and I just pocketed it in my trouser.
I mean, is it the case with all mental health
Actually,
patients?
according to the Mental Health Act 2019, you need a police letter. That's why when I say what I'm saying, people know that you're coming from a place you have experienced it. You don't just say. And the truth is, when you're experiencing it, there's a way it will also have a traumatizing effect on you.
Yeah.
Because when someone has cancer, they don't get a police letter. When someone has HIV, they don't get a police letter. When somebody even has cerebral malaria, they do not get a police letter. When, you know, so if that is the procedure of admission, that can traumatize whoever is the patient. So I remember, yes, the letter was there. I pocketed it. In my mind, I'm thinking, well, if they think I'm not all there, no one will even suspect I have the letter. But I remember the police guy sitting behind, the policeman, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law was seated behind. My husband was driving the car. I was in front with passenger seat with my 9-month-old baby, who is now 15. Yeah. So, going to the hospital, I just felt, I was taken to Butabika Hospital that time. And I will never forget that day. It was 2009, 26th of January. It was a public holiday. And I just stood under the mango tree with my baby. I stood under the mango tree with my baby. And you know, you get to a place where you're thinking, now, in this situation, only God can save me.
What was running in your mind at that moment?
At that moment, what was running in my mind, because my big sister was still alive, and I have a young sister who supported me at the time. So in my mind, I'm thinking, this time, none of my sisters can help me. That's what was going on in my mind. And then I was thinking, this time it is me and God.
Yeah.
Because, you know, issues of the mental health crisis, the more you say, I'm okay, they will say, you can see she's really badly off. So I decided, I just stood under that tree, held my baby, and I kept saying, Jesus is Lord. I turned to look, there's a ward, a women's ward, because there was a convalescent ward. Anyone who knows Butabika will know that where exactly I was standing. I was standing under a big mango tree. And then behind, in front of the convalescent ward, there's another ward of women. I saw women in green uniforms. I saw women with no hair. Their hair had been shaven. I don't know if they even say shaving or cut off completely, but they didn't have hair. I saw these women, their hands grouping. They were grouping through the fencing, saliva flowing. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm not this bad.
I know.
But I dared not say it. It was a traumatizing sight. And then my husband had stood aside with his brother. I stood under that mango tree. My sister-in-law walked up and down that ward, that convalescent ward, looking for which health officer to speak to. And eventually when she came back, I remember her telling my husband that they can't admit because it's a public holiday and there's no doctor. And in my mind, I was relieved. But by the way, I never resisted anybody. I never said I'm not sick. I just kept quiet. Because I said, now I just need to call on God. And then I remember us finally getting back into that car. And then the next doctor's appointment we had was an appointment with a doctor who assessed me. Although the second one who actually assessed me was not nice. Because, first encounter was Butavika. Next doctor, I remember she intimidated me. Because she kept telling me, get on that bed. And if you fight, I had not resisted her. Yeah. I had not fought. So I'm looking at her and I'm wondering why the aggression. In my mind, I was thinking, I don't have time. You want to inject me? I'm going to get on that bed. You inject me. I got there, she injected me. And I remember her talking to me, but because of the stance, the way she had approached me, I blocked her. Yeah. Mentally, emotionally, I blocked her. I just said to myself, I cannot talk to such a health officer. I cannot. I can't. I just can't. So I kept telling her the same thing. Jesus is Lord. I repeated it over and over. She got tired. But I intentionally blocked her because I was thinking, you come to me, you're aggressive, I have not fought you, there's no way I'm willing to engage. You can't. So the next doctor who actually handled me, he had a better approach. Although I remember, because he was dealing with student nurses, when he was handling my case the first time, one of them laughed at me as he was interviewing me. Because normally, it's like almost like you're being cancelled so that they know what is your issue. The student nurse laughed at me. And when she laughed at me, I actually asked her, why are you laughing? And he also reprimanded her. So why am I mentioning these particular situations? For you to understand the gaps in our health care when it comes to mental health support, care and treatment. Because I remember what that doctor did after assessing me, giving me medication. He asked my husband, are you going to give her medication? Because if you are, there's no need for admission. He actually told him, I just need you to assure me on that. Because if you're going to be available, give her medication when she needs it, there's no need to admit. So actually the first time I wasn't admitted. Okay. And I thank God for that, because when you're not admitted, it kind of helps to speed up your recovery because you are in familiar space. Space which you're comfortable to be around. Because remember, I was a young mom. My child is 9 months. 9 months. So when you admit me, it has an impact. You kind of create a separation between me and my child. But if my child is available to me, I'm in a space where I can wake up as and when I can, my recovery is faster. Very fast. But if you remove me from my familiar space, put me in a space probably where you will even eventually separate me from my child, that would have added trauma. Yes. So that was the first instance. The next time when I was actually admitted is when I had my 5th baby. Because I already told you I'm a mom to 5. Yeah, yes. Yes. So
you broke down again.
Yes. It happened when he was 4 months. And when that happened, I actually lost consciousness, because I remember also it kind of manifested the same way. Rapid speech, talking the whole day. Yeah, then being sedated. It it was like almost a pattern,
yeah.
being sedated. After being sedated, eventually I drop off to sleep, because I remember even when they carried me out of that house, you know, when you don't, you feel it, even when you're a bit unconscious, you feel it. You feel you're being carried, because I could feel the heat of the sun on my skin as I was being taken into the car. But I could not do anything about it. I didn't have any strength. Actually, according to the doctor said it was psychosis. But I could do nothing at all for myself. Then eventually I remember not even remembering every detail. And like I was really unconscious, completely unconscious. And all I could remember were the visions I was seeing. Because one of the things I could remember is hearing Babirye's song, Judith Babirye's song, Yesu Beera Nange. And so it gave me a kind of comfort, Yesu Beera Nange. And then the next thing I remember, there were 2 verses, by the way, which I remember. I had a clear, gentle voice. First, I had a voice say, Angela is resting in Jesus' arms. Wow. Then the next voice I had was Psalm 23, verse 5. And it says, I prepare a table for you in the presence of my enemies, of your enemies. I anoint you with oil. That one, I anoint your head with oil. That voice was saying that verse in Luganda. Okay. Then the next verse I remember was 55. I think it was Isaiah 55:8, about there. And the word that came was, my ways are not your ways. My thoughts are not your thoughts. That was in English. That's all I remember. Then I remember my husband coming to see me in the hospital, because remember, we had a 4-month-old baby. He would bring the baby, but I could not breastfeed that baby. So he would place the baby near me on the bed, because the doctors advised that we need that contact as a mother and such, child. And so my baby would just be there, content. And for me, just feeling his warmth, that was also soothing for me. But I could actually not hold my baby. I could not even feed him. It was that bad.
Terrible.
Yes. But whenever my husband would come, because he would come every day, I was in that hospital for 8 days. He would come every day. That is what he would do. I was able to hold my son on the 8th day. But otherwise, for the most part, I was unconscious. But on the 4th day, after 3 days, 4th day, I came to, because they were going to bring those tubes. And that's the thing I hate. I remember even the nurses, they came with their gadgets, because they said, we can't keep her like this. Because I was on that intravenous thing, intravenously giving me silent solution and glucose. That's how they kept me for those 3, leading to the 4th day. And so they come and say, we can't keep her like this. She will need to eat. So what we have to do, we are going to use these tubes, and we'll do that feeding. Oh, thankfully I came to, and I told them, no. I will eat if you want me to eat. And I ate. That time I was going to be admitted in Mulago, Bosa ward. I said, I will eat.
I'll eat.
They told me, Angela, if you do not eat, we are putting these things in. I said, please bring their food. And I remember God was gracious. I actually managed to eat. Yes, I managed to eat. And so on the 8th day, I was discharged. But that was the journey. And why I'm explaining that detail is for people to show empathy to their loved ones, and not to create a situation of trauma. Police letter, what? But those things are there in the Mental Health Act. Yeah, they are there. That is their procedure.
So, Angela, which disorder did you have? Because I see World Health Organization, the latest report has 7.4 of Ugandans affected by the common mental disorders, depression, anxiety, and alcohol use. Peter, did I know that also alcohol use is part of?
It is. By the way, alcohol use thing is a serious thing, because the way, if you become so dependent, because some people, they cannot spend a day without consuming alcohol. And some people become so desperately dependent that it will begin to jeopardize their roles. Say if you are a husband or you are a wife, because it will impair your, they call it cognitive skills, the way you treat people, your thinking capacity, your productivity is affected. And actually, even your liver is affected with extreme consumption. So it will actually be, it becomes a disease because you are addicted. And of course, it takes a toll on your body. And many people use alcohol as a way of kind of forgetting, numbing the pain and forgetting their problems.
True. So
but
it
now when
becomes
you
a
ask,
habit.
yes, now when you ask for me what the condition the doctors told me, they told me it is affective bipolar disorder.
And what is that?
And that means it's really like a situation where, because many people these days, they tell them bipolar, it's almost like the normal. When you have extra depression moments, you are depressed for a longer time. And I remember my doctor, that is something I keep telling everyone who interviews me, the doctor saying it is like a valley. You are in a valley, but you are in that valley for a longer time than other people. If it is a week, maybe for other people, or less, for you it could be 2 weeks or even more. Then when it comes to you, what they call mania, that is an episode when you're very excitable. You are too excited to a point of being destructive. And that, according to the way the doctor drew it for me, it's the heel now. You become disruptive.
So it's not good to be overexcited.
Because you'll go beyond what is the normal.
Okay.
And of course, when they say affective, because the part of affective also depends on situations and circumstances around you. Because, you know, in life happens, and there are things we do not have control over in life. But now you also need to learn to understand yourself. Now I have understood myself. I'm at a place where I understand myself better. I've learned to overlook offense. I've also learned that when a certain gathering I know will cause me pain, I will avoid going there. There's no need for me to go there. And I've gotten to a place where I no longer get worked up that, you know, what will people say, so and so, da. What's important, is it actually good for my mental health? And if I see I'll be compromising my health, I would rather not show up. Because even though someone is your sister, but this sister is always the one who rubs you the wrong way, it's okay for me not to hang out with her. It's not a must that because she's my sister, I must always be with her. No. So I have learned also to draw healthy boundaries. When I feel a certain gathering is not healthy for me, I will not go. I would rather not go than go and compromise my health. And also learning when to slow down, because life can get busy. So if I say I have had a very long week, like leading to the Mental Health Awards, oh God, too much work, you know, you are looking for sponsors, looking for what's work. So I remember I told myself, let this event end and I will be intentional to rest. Because now if you don't rest, you've had a lot of tight schedule around there leading to the event. And yes, you have had a successful event. After that event, rest. Maybe you could have an engagement during the day, but don't take very long hours away. Learn to rest. So I have learned also to rest, to listen to my body. I have learned, and most importantly, by the way, above everything, I have learned to use the word of God for my healing. Because my self-esteem was once affected. There's no way you can have a mental breakdown and your self-esteem is not hit. Because you have to get back into society, and you have also to make amends, because in that season of you talking so much, there are some things you say which hurt people. So you have also to mend relationships. And that cannot be easy. Because some people might understand, others might never understand. They'll say this person is just a bad person. So you have to go through those seasons where you are mending relationships. People who have gone through it will identify. Because someone might even insult a particular person and say all sorts of things. Not everything they say is right, but a number of things, by the way, might be true. Because when you're in that state, you have boldness. But, I mean, we have to speak in love. We speak the truth in love. We have to also learn that. So I remember one time when I got a crisis, my neighbors, there were two ladies. You know, when you're in a gated community, that time there were 4 homes. I called them demons. Yeah, that one I asked. Bambi, I insulted them. And so what I did, I remember when I recovered, I went to them. Because I was thinking, I have children. These women, my children, can't go in their homes.
So it's true, after recovery, you still recall?
Yes,
what
I
happened?
recall. Yes. Okay. So I remember I went to each one of them individually in their homes and I apologized. Wow. And I even told them, you know, this is what happened, but this is not like I meant to say what I said. So I really apologized and I said, please forgive me. And at least our relationship was better, because I remember when that eventually was admitted, when our laundry would be outside, they would carry it in for us. Because I remember we didn't have a maid. They would carry in that laundry for us. They wouldn't leave our clothes out to get wet. So like there was a special understanding there, just to show people that we can support each other differently. You might not need to come and make me juice, but that is also a way of support. And for people just to extend love. So someone will speak certain things, not because they hate you, but they've had a situation. And they are speaking what they have said. But cut them slack and forgive them. They might never be your best friend.
I know.
But it is okay. Forgive and let it go. Yes. So I had to make those amends. Wow. Yeah, it is humbling.
At least you did that.
Yes, it's very humbling. So that is part of because like I said, everyone is different. But I have had to learn. Because now when I told you about the self-confidence part, I had to learn. My favorite verse is Psalm 139, verse 14. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, oh God, and I know that full well. So I'm God's work. So I say, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And that helps me. And then I start to see myself more in the eyes of God. Because people will always have their opinion. And I don't have a control over their opinions.
True.
But I am intentional to see myself through the eyes of God. How does he see me? And then another verse, because recently I'm on my journey of deeper healing. You know, healing is also in levels.
Stages. Okay.
Now, when I say deeper, this is in Isaiah 54, verse 11 to 12. It says, afflicted city, lashed by storms and not comforted. I will rebuild you with turquoise. I will build your foundations with lapis lazuli. And this is God saying. And your battlements will be of rubies. Your gates will be like sparkling jewels. And it's the gates with sparkling jewels, and your walls with precious stones. So for me, because I'm now seeking that deeper healing, I realized that I need to know that God rebuilds. You know, there are things that have had to die for the new to come. And that is the reality of life. We go through seasons. And so because some things had to die, God is building afresh. And when he rebuilds, he uses precious stones. Because for me, I was happy to realize that, you know what? By the way, God doesn't use cheap things when he's rebuilding. He's an expensive God. Because me, I did my research. Rubies are more expensive than diamonds. Most of us, of course, always say that girl's best friend is who? Diamonds. Yeah, but rubies are more expensive. Now, I also Googled to see the quality of lapis lazuli. These things are expensive stones. So I realized, and when I say afflicted city, the city is you, the person. You see, you have been afflicted. Life has been rough. And let me tell you, there are some journeys which are lonely, and you need to face it yourself. The healing journey, even though you have the most caring family, and this is not to disregard families. I appreciate all the families supporting their loved ones, and I salute you. So I'm not disregarding what families are doing, but there are journeys that person can never walk with you. Them as the family, they cannot walk it with you because there are decisions you have to make. Me, I had to make decisions. I asked myself, Angela, do you want to be available to your children? Do you want to raise them? I had to ask myself those tough questions. And I realized that, you know what, I want to be part of my children's life. And I didn't want to be the kind who they give handouts. I didn't want to be the kind who is given crumbs. I wanted to take charge and be an available present mother.
So it should be a personal fight also.
Yeah, it is. That is the truth. Because the truth is that they'll take you to hospital. Hospital will help you. But I remember telling my doctor, I told the doctor, I've taken your tablets. I even called them their tablets. Because I took them for 5 years.
Okay.
But my problems are still there. They don't go away. I will sleep. I wake up, the problems are there. So what do we do? And I remember telling the doctor, you've never recommended psychotherapy. You know, because when you are healing in this kind of situation, you need a multi kind of approach. The approach has to be from many sides because you will need, there are seasons you need psychotherapy. There are seasons you need to talk things through with a psychologist or a counselor, depending on what you're dealing with. Because some people, they might be dealing with trauma, maybe because of rape. They might be dealing with trauma because of abuse. Whatever it is, you will need that journey also. Because the doctor, the psychiatrist will prescribe and tell you, you need sodium bicarbonate. You need hallowed or whatever, Haldo. There are different things that is even old generation, injectables. They'll give you all sorts of things. The psychiatrist will assess and give you all that. But the psychiatrist is not a skilled counselor. So because they don't have that skill, although they will still counsel, but they are really not trained counselors, you'll need the counselor. But like I said, different approaches, because some people, maybe you're dealing with grief. Someone else is dealing with marital distress. Someone else, maybe it's alcoholism. They might need a recovery coach. So wherever you are at, you will need a particular specialist to talk your issues through. But even after you have, because the counselor doesn't have the answers, that's where I said the deeper level of healing comes in. You need to ask yourself, where do I want to see myself in 5 years? If you're a married woman already, you ask yourself, do I want to be an available wife? Do I want to be an available mother? How do I get there? And get the support. That's why I do peer support. Yes, and we talk things through. through peer support.
Wow. We thank God for that recovery journey.
I really do thank.
Yeah.
I give him glory.
And so, Angela,
Yes.
we have a lot of mental health issues in Uganda, particularly. What are some of the causes? What do you think triggers these numbers to go high?
Some of the things that are triggering, the truth is the breakdown of the family fabric. Family is no longer what it used to be.
Yeah, true.
And some people think family is posh cars.
Whatever has happened
Family
now.
is posh houses. If I can take you on posh holidays, it is more than that. Because you can, in fact, there's somebody who said, when the child was telling me they are depressed, I was wondering, depressed how? You are in a posh international
I give
school.
you everything.
In fact, recently, I had a visitor just yesterday, and she was saying her son and the peers were admiring a certain boy. Because this boy, there are only two in the family. His mom, he just told the mom, Mommy, I have a problem here. The mommy sent him 900,000. He's at school.
No, which problem? At school.
And he needed extra pocket money. 900K. Just like that. And then so all of them were admiring this boy. And he's a very brilliant boy. And they look at his life and they say, wow. Because his life, mommy has a posh, high-profile job. She was widowed young, so she has raised her children alone. Firstborn is not at home, is away from Uganda. This boy is like an only child. Yeah. But the boy told them, you know what, by the way, I'm very lonely. Oh. Very, very lonely. Home, domestic workers, and the bodyguards. That is home.
Mommy's never home.
Mommy, she can of course be home, but she's a busy mommy. So as a busy mommy, you dish out the money. But this child is lonely. You understand, there is a gap there. And then also other things which are making the young generation really empty. The phones. I don't know if you have even been at their parties. They can be at a party, everyone is on their phone. What social bonds are those? And then others are engaging in risky behavior. But what is causing all this? The family is weak. The family is weak. Some parents have misunderstood their presence to equate money. It is good, we need money. And I'm not here to bash that money is bad.
Yeah, true.
And it's also good to be rich. I don't want to tell people it's bad to be rich. No, it is very good to be rich. But are you available? Are you available? Does that child even have time to talk to you and tell you how their term was? How their week was? Are you available? Do you even go out with them and have a meal with them, just them, and talk to your child? Our children, by the way, are struggling. But are we available? That's a challenge. And then, of course, when there's breakdown, when you're a mother and a father and you don't get on, it will bring crisis in the family. Children are insecure when parents don't get on. And you cannot buy that with money. By the way, you can give that child 20 million. But if mommy and daddy are not tight, they have insecurity. And the 20 million can't fix the insecurity. You understand? Of course, other things, violence, other things like trauma. Some children are sexually abused. COVID brought out our ugly side. Yeah. Because I have somebody, actually a young person came to me and told me her daughter, by that time the daughter was 5. So her daughter was sexually abused by her uncle. So how do you think if you think taking that child to hospital is enough, it's not enough.
It's not enough.
The hospital intervention has come, yes, thank you, but that child has been scarred. And when I say scarred, I don't mean the physical scars which the doctors see. Those are emotional, invisible scars. Those wounds. And such a child will need healing. If they don't get the healing, that's when you find some of them to forget that pain or to drown it. Where are you? You weed. They get weed, smoke a joint. Where are you? Booze. They, because it's all about, I need to forget this. So we need to be present. The fact is that breakdown in families is real. And also us as mothers, these days, some mothers, it's so shocking. A mother might have never even cooked for her children. They don't know what an egg mommy has made tastes like. But these are simple things that make us bond with our children. So we need to get back to the drawing board. Yes, because that is the reality. And of course also poverty.
True.
Because when people are poor, if someone can sell their child because they are poor,
Money.
that is terrible. When people are poor, they go, all these situations, people going to the United Arab Emirates to be maids, despite the bad stories they hear. That is poverty. And of course, in the long run, we shall have a bigger crisis because this is a time bomb. Right now, I don't think even Uganda, we have felt it yet. We are still, because when you see people's snaps, it's all about glorifying risky behavior. And until the root is dealt with, parents have to be available. Parents have to talk to children. The children are dealing with a lot. In universities, there's a lot happening. But do we talk to our children? And there's a way you can talk to a child without judging them. And I'm not saying that the bad things they do, we are condoning. We are saying, oh, thank you, keep up. No. But children also, they need to find safe spaces. And it starts with us. We need to mentor our children to deal with conflict in a healthy way. And also to learn to harness that esteem of theirs. Social media has also brought challenges. But the truth is, it all boils down to family. Because if family is strong, there are many things we can overcome. Many things. So the mental health of people, most of it is rooted in that. Family breakdown. Because there are some men, they have money, but he'll not take his responsibility to look after his children. The mother has to first hustle, police. So those are the issues. Poverty, family breakdown, major thing, violence, things like defilement and rape.
Okay. So Angela, tell us about the Keturah Mental Health Awards. When do you start these?
The Keturah Mental Health Awards, I started them in 2022. Now this is 2023. This is an idea that was birthed out of my book, which I wrote, Breaking Free, because I joined a team of authors from Kenya, African Christian authors, and they were training us on this book program, how to go beyond a book sale. That selling your book is good, but what kind of program have you come up with? So the Keturah Mental Health Awards is a platform that was birthed out of my book, and it was birthed to bring mental health in the spotlight so that people can understand mental health, but also where we are celebrating people creating impact in the space. Because the first time when I introduced it, it was with three categories: leadership through lived experience, mental health award, grassroots impact mental health award, and the youth impact mental health award. And I have partners. People have partnered with me on this journey. The Ministry of Health is key. The mental health division, yes, in particular. I commend Dr. Hafsa very much, because actually even on 31st, the ministry is celebrating the World Mental Health Day, but the national celebrations at Silver Springs. So that will be next week. But I have partnered with the ministry, like I said. I have partnered with Vision Group. I've partnered with Esther's Ventures and Divine Touch. Those are the major people I have partnered with. The Rotary, that was the first time, Botanical Rotary. royals, they partnered with me on that. And it has attracted different partners. But the issue is for people also to know, where do we get help? And also to acknowledge those who are bringing the help to the table.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Very
that,
important.
yeah, so that people now begin to know, hey, if I'm in Arua, there is so and so. If I'm in Imbarara, this is where I can get help. If I'm in Masaka, this is where I can get help. So it is kind of bringing different people together. And also, there is a panel of judges.
Okay.
So it's not like I do it as me. People might think, oh, this chick, she just sits there and... No.
Yeah.
There's a panel of judges. The first time, there was a psychiatrist. The first edition, there was a leadership. She did organizational leadership. The lady who was the judge that time, she's called Susan Mohoza, and the other guy is called Chris Gumisiriza. Then for the second edition, I also had, they are there in the book, 3 other judges. The lady is called Dr. Annette Chirabira. And also Susan Mohoza came on board to support the cause. And a gentleman who is a mental health advocate called Jimmy Odoki, he also came to support as a panelist, as a finalist judge, to judge. And of course, what helps me to be able to do it, I have had some experience in judging as well. There's a group I've been part of, which I'm actually still part of. It's called Social Health, but originally it was WEGO. WEGO, as in WEGO. It's in the US. And you judge remotely. You don't have to be there. When people have nominated their people, they will send you a judge's kit. They'll send you the people who have been nominated in that category and send you their social media links. Yes. So, and then you judge according to the criteria of the judge's kit. So God helped me. I've been part of this movement. It's a patient empowerment movement in the US. And I've been part of it for close to 3 years or even more. Yes, as a finalist judge. This year, I was also a nominee, 2023. Yes, as a in the Trailblazer category for advocacy. I didn't win, but I was nominated.
Yeah, it's also beautiful. The nomination is also key.
Yes, yeah. I was nominated. Then also for the disability impact list, like they have, it's also another platform. It's also international. I was also nominated there. I didn't also make it to as finalist, but at least I was nominated 2023. Yeah. Yes.
Is that part of the My Story initiative?
No. Now these ones, the disability, it's also another platform which is international for people in disability space who are making impact.
Okay.
Yes, because when you have had a mental health challenge, what they will call a psychosocial disability, they call it psychosocial because there are barriers in society that will hinder you from moving from one step to another of progress. And some of those barriers are related to stigma, to discrimination, and people not according you what we call reasonable accommodation. Yes, because people will label you, that one, like they will draw lines and not want to engage you in certain spaces because of that.
And that takes you back into the depression.
And those are the things, that's why we call it psychosocial disability. Yes. So I think in summary, I've tried to explain the Keturah Mental Health Awards. But of course, where the name, I was inspired to choose Keturah in particular. Like I said, she was my big sister who passed away 2017. But she was a woman who was compassionate, who helped me a lot on my recovery journey, who helped me when I was struggling. And I felt what better way to celebrate her legacy than name this platform after her name. Yeah.
May her soul rest in peace.
Yes, that may it rest in peace.
And about the Nantamba Wellness Center, now, what happens there?
Okay, now Nantamba Wellness, the center will come. It hasn't yet come. But
Okay,
or
but it isn't.
non-tamba, yes, non-tamba wellness support is a space which is actually doing what I call heart-to-heart, right? The heart-to-heart, which does the platform of the Keturah Mental Health Awards. And the dream for the non-tamba wellness is also to have a wellness support center. Yes. Hoping that this is something we do and realize before 3 years have passed, because that is something in the pipeline. But also we want to create conversation around mental health in different parts of the country.
True.
As activities starting 2024. So that's what we are about. We want to keep the mental health issues in the spotlight. Keep talking, keep talking.
Outside Kampala.
Even outside Kampala. So that people know.
Because people down there don't know.
Yes.
That will be
Or
a
even
good-
they can see, they say, but they don't understand. I'll give you an example. I was recently a speaker at the Safe Motherhood Conference. And I thank God for the opportunity, but I was showing them the need why government needs to mainstream maternal mental health. So that the babies are also healthy.
Talk about it.
Because if mommy is not okay mentally, how will baby be okay? So you cannot ignore that element of mental health.
And then also after birth, now you talk about the women.
Because there's a lady.
Happens.
Yes, there's a lady. She actually, it's on record for her, what happened to her. She is alleged. You know, in law they say alleged, even when it is done. Yeah. But her baby, she killed her baby. The baby was 4 months. Cooked the baby. Of course, that was in Yumbe, and it was reported in the papers. Of course, what does police come? Police comes on the scene, they lock her in. But now such a woman, before you even lock her in, have you assessed her mental state?
What was the problem?
Because if government puts these systems in place through the Ministry of Health, you will save certain lives because you are diagnosing early certain issues.
So as we also go for antenatal
yes,
care,
it should be part. If someone is going antenatal care, it's also part. Because when you are a new mom, that's the truth is you are confused. How do you look after a baby? Who is going to support you as you look after that baby? Because your whole life is changing.
And sometimes people will not tell you that it is a tough journey, the 9 months.
Exactly.
So
it can be hard. Mothers need to be prepared psychologically to embrace that journey. And they also need support at home. So that the baby is also safe and healthy. So that is why I insist that is something they need to think about.
And this will be a good one. Yes, because it touches a lot of lives. Yeah. Okay. And so to as we get to the conclusion of our conversation, the community, what should the community do? Because if you're healing, you're recovering, then the community takes you back, the stigma that comes around.
What the community needs to do, before you throw stones at somebody, imagine that was your daughter. Imagine it was your mother. Imagine it was your father. Imagine it is somebody you deeply love. And also imagine it was you. So for me, when I get in spaces where I speak about mental health, when it's a corporate space, I will tell them, imagine it is you. Because if you ask them, because I remember I went for a certain retreat with an organization, and then when I went there, I asked them, how would you support someone who has mental illness? And they are back to work. Some people would say, that one you avoid. Others, okay, yeah, you give them less work or support them, stuff like that. But we have to first ask, if it were me, how would I want to be treated? So first, I would advise, starting with the caregivers, educate yourself. That is important. Understand what the person is going through. Then also, take care of your mental health. Because the truth is, caring for somebody who is not well, it takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
And also, if you ignore yourself, you'll not be in position to support them.
Will end up also.
Yes. And then love people. Love people. That's all they need. People need love. They need acceptance. Where you are able to support with food, give food. Where you're able to support with clothes, give them. If you are able to support and give the person a job, even though it's part-time, give them. Because everybody is at a different level of recovery. Some people might be able to work half day, not full day. If you can make that difference, help them, engage them. But most importantly, like I said, I encourage peer support, where people meet in spaces and can talk about their challenges, their successes, and they draw strength from that experience. Because when we do that, if all of us looked out for each other, it would be a better place. And don't beat people. Maybe some people are beaten. Others, they beat them. Don't beat. It is not necessary. Actually, most people who have had a mental health challenge, they are not violent. That is the shocking thing.
The way we think of them.
But people think they will look at you from even before you have said anything. They stone. Because there's somebody, Bambi, she said, her brother has been very not well for a long time. And he can walk from home and walk long distances. But Bambi, when he comes back, he's full of blood. What people have been beating him.
And we have a lot of people on the street, people who sleep there.
But I also think as government, because recently I saw a woman and it broke my heart. She was definitely in her menstrual cycle season. She had stained her dress. You could clearly see she was not well. She was not clean. It doesn't mean that everybody who is not clean is not well. But for her, this was her situation. If they could be assisting without the person being traumatized, but where they can be taken gently to hospital, away, maybe there's a toll-free line where people can call and say, we have someone here, they need help, ambulance services, so that people get help with dignity. That is also something I would recommend.
And then, Angela, also I saw one of, I don't remember the newspaper, but it had a big headline that the patients in Butabika, mostly the ladies, were being sexually harassed.
Okay, it is alleged. It is alleged. I've heard those stories. There are some people who have complained. And of course, some things are still in court. They are yet to be concluded on. But some people have actually complained. And I remember there was, I think it was a 4-part series in the newspapers about a journalist who actually went there for help. But like I said, once a journalist, always a journalist. The journalist wrote a story, his experience in there, and he pointed some of those things there. He talked about some of those things. So those are issues that are yet to be concluded on, but complaints have been coming through. Yes.
We hope something is done. Yeah,
we pray that something is done to improve the situation, because at least there's rapport. We talk to the doctors. Yes, we talk to the doctors. That rapport is there. But yeah, some people have complained, yes.
So Angela, what has kept you moving? What are some of the ethics, your work ethics, things you look at and say, this has kept me reach where I am?
Some of the things that have kept me going is to appreciate where I'm coming from. Because when you appreciate where you're coming from, you extend compassion to other people. Yes, but when you look at people and judge them harshly, you don't know their journey, you don't know where they're coming from, and also you, as a person, you don't need to forget where you're coming from. Because I appreciate a young woman who will come in a space and is intimidated because maybe she was violated. And maybe for her to understand an instruction, you need to explain more than 10 times. I understand. I appreciate young man who will come to you and does not understand what it is like to take charge as a head of a house because he's coming from a place where daddy was absent. He's coming from a place where he does not know what family order is. I understand it, and I would not judge that young man, but I would not encourage him to remain there. I would just tell him the truth. You know what? You still need to man up. You need support. And when he tells me, because some people either they are struggling with alcohol addiction, others it might be even masturbation. I know that people in these spaces who I can refer them to for further help. So for me, I understand God has given me that compassion. And so some of the things that keep me grounded is to know that I'm here for a season. It's not like I'm here forever. No, I'm here for a season. And because I'm here for a season, there's a part in the Bible that says, teach me how to number my days and give me a heart of wisdom. So I'm here for a season and I want to live a full life. I want to die empty. So I will embrace every space where I can impart that which God has put in me to others. And for me, I don't want to limit it to only women. If the space is women, I will impart. If they are young men, I will impart because God has called me to the nations. So I don't want to die with what God has put inside of me. I want to die empty. And that is something actually Dr. Miles Monroe said. He says it's important. The grave is the richest place. The graveyard is the richest place because people die with unwritten books. All the songs they would have composed are there. They never did it. I want to die empty. I want to duplicate myself. I want young people to learn to speak about pain without being ashamed. I want young people to feel free to deal with situations, whether it is abuse. Don't keep quiet about it. Talk. Maybe because you have talked, someone will help you. Maybe because you talked, you'll not commit suicide. There are lives that can be spared. So for me, that is my key, that I'm here for a season. I want to die empty. I want to pour that which God has given to me into others. And I don't look at only my biological children. Thankfully, I have met different women, different people who will choose, Angela, I don't look at you just as a friend. You are my mother. I don't look at you just, you are my mentor. You know, people tell me that. And interestingly, I've found young men and women tell me that. So I just want to keep giving of myself, until there's nothing left to give. And so that when I go home, I'm a happy girl. Yes.
You know, I keep looking at you when you're speaking, and it's really nice and beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Angela, to our viewers, what our viewers should know more about you. Oh, before I forget, where should people get? Where do people find these books?
Okay.
Yes.
Now, this book, Breaking Free, it's available in one of the traditional bookshops, Uganda bookshop.
Yeah.
It's available. They can find it there. People who want to get in touch with me direct, I think you'll give them my number. Because
Angela Nsimbi is on YouTube.
Yes, I'm on
She has
YouTube.
a channel. Please look out for her channel.
Yes.
Angela Nsimbi.
Yes.
Follow, subscribe to her channel and watch all.
Thank you.
Yes.
So people can reach out also, and I can avail them the book, if especially those who want one which is autographed. But otherwise, I mainly sell them at Uganda Bookshop. Okay. That's where they can find them. I sell them at Jumia. They can find them there. And others who are outside UG, Jumia, Kenya, and then also Amazon. So my books are available on those different platforms. Yes. Okay. But for the community, okay, for maybe the viewers, people who are watching, if you are a woman, because I know women, our self-esteem is affected a lot in a different way from boys. If you're a woman, you're out there, you're wondering, what is my next step? Look at the storm you're going through. That is your purpose. If you're a young girl and you're wondering, where do I go from here? Maybe you're even pregnant and you're pregnant, it's out of wedlock. You're saying, how will I face mommy? How will I face daddy? Don't terminate. Carry that baby. You might be carrying your provider.
Your blessing.
Yes, in the later years. Because for me, mommy had me young. My mom had me, she was just 20 when she had me. She didn't have a job. She had just finished A-level, but she had me. And I know the world would have missed a lot if I wasn't here.
Indeed.
You see? So you might have that baby and you're wondering, this baby will hinder me, what? But every child, according to God, children are a blessing. They are a reward from Him. No child is a mistake. So for me, whether you are a man or a woman, wherever you are at, whatever challenge you are facing right now, just look at the opportunity in that challenge and choose to be the solution. And as you choose to be the solution, also look out for people in that space who can hold your hand and teach you the ropes. How do I move here? What do I do here? Learn from their mistakes, learn from their successes. Be in spaces that build you. That is what I can conclude with for the viewers.
Thank you. I have really enjoyed this session with Angela Nsimbi. I have really enjoyed, and I hope you have enjoyed a lot. If you want to reach out to Angela, you can check her on her YouTube channel, or you can also hit our comment section. We can, of course, give you her number and you reach out to her. She is doing amazing work. She is really impacting society, giving back to society. We are so grateful to have people like Angela, who are really, caring out for others in society. And we don't take that for granted. So it has been a wonderful show. Thank you to you, our viewers. Thank you for always watching Civic Space TV. Yes, you can like all our shows, share the link, comment, and follow us on other social media platforms. I've been your host, Madreen. See you next time. Bye.